I guess thanks to the break, some of you will be ready for the next session because the first session was really heavy with a lot of code. Thankfully, the second session we don't have any code. But at the same time, we are going to talk about a very important topic which I believe is a trend which I am personally noticing in the tech industry in general and Salesforce world as well. So I purposefully kept this session titled as Developer Discipline. Discipline is the word we all hate, right? From a very, very young age. We don't want others to discipline us. We don't want others to come and tell us this is the right way to do things, you should be doing this, you should not be doing this, and so on. But at some point in life, we realized that all those discipline comments that people were saying were actually for our own good. Starting from our parents, to the teachers, to our seniors, to everybody. Whatever they said, it's for our own good. We realized that at some point, so I believe as developers and mature developers, we should face this term, discipline. And thankfully, this time it's not I telling you to follow some discipline rules or something. These are all what the industry tells us. Customers tell us. Maybe they don't use the same words that I use to tell it to us, but they say it in a different way. Let's see what it is. And look at the subtitle I have given, The Art of Producing Presentable Solutions. Little later into the presentation, I will come to the point of what I mean by presentable solutions and why it is important. First, I'll just give a quick introduction about me, a very quick introduction. I'm part of CRM IT Solutions. I'm the co-founder and CTO of this company. We have been working in the space of CRM for the past 15 years. This is our 15th year in operation. We have customers all over the globe in different CRM technologies, including Salesforce. And personally, I started with the ERP portal, that background, and then got into CRM about 13, 14 years back. And after that, I've been working on CRM only. And I'm very passionate about this customer experience concept. Every incident I see every day, whatever it may be, for example, the taxi experience I had while I was coming here, I can find out some customer experience story out of it. It is, that addiction has become too much. And I'm basically a production engineer, but I've never seen a factory in my life. From day one, I've been working in IT. Probably old factories I've seen, not the real factories for which I study. Then I'm a reader and a writer. I write in Tamil and English, and I've given my LinkedIn link if you want to read some of my English articles. I doubt if many of you will be interested in the Tamil side of it. Okay, a little bit about my organization. Again, a quick introduction. We have been in the CRM space for almost 15 years now, and we are working with Oracle as well as Salesforce. And we have customers, we have more than 2.5 lakh users, CRM users, whom we have enabled in different verticals, starting from banking to retail to public sector to everything. And that's the experience that we are bringing in, but in today's session, I'm not going to specifically focus on any of them. Instead, I'm planning to talk about something which I believe is more important to us as a developer community. To start with the story, I had a friend who was a builder, the real builder, okay, not the code builder or architect. He builds houses, and we had a land, and then we wanted to give a project to him. We gave the responsibility to him. He came, he spoke to us, he understood our requirements. This is the kind of house I want. I want X, Y, Z. I don't want ABC. So he understood all that. He went back and he started constructing the house. And this place was far away, so obviously we couldn't go every day and then see what is going on in the construction place. So he understood it and started sending us updates frequently. Every second day or every third day he will send me pictures in email. So I could, in front of my eyes, see my house being built. It was a nice experience. So you see empty land, then you see some walls, then of the basement, then walls, X, Y, Z, whatever. So you see all these things, and then it was very fast. There were milestones in the agreement we had. Okay, in 2 months I'll do this, 3 months I'll do this, 4 months I'll do this, and so on. So everything was met properly. The house was complete. So one fine day we went and saw the house. Everything was good, fine. We are ready. We are ready for the housewarming ceremony. And then while we were getting ready for the housewarming ceremony, we started noticing those small bits and pieces which were missing in the house. For example, let's say in the kitchen, there were 20 cabinets and one of the cabinets doesn't have a handle. Small thing. Similarly, in the top floor, there was some problem. Some water connection was not proper. Hot water was coming in the cold water pipe, or whatever it is. Some small problem. All tiny problems when compared to the bigger problem of constructing a house. Just 4-5 months back, we didn't have a house at all. So, starting from empty land to house is a big achievement by itself. And he was a fantastic builder, remember? Throughout the construction time, he was sending me updates regularly. He was meeting every milestone. I was extremely happy with this output. Absolutely no question about it. Now, the last 1%. So we told him. In fact, he was with us. So we told him, hey, can you fix this? Can you fix this? Can you fix that? So he wrote everything in that list. Then beautifully he clicked the picture and he emailed it also to me saying that these are the things that I will take care. This is 6-7 years back. Until now, those things are not fixed. Okay? After reminding him 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, we understood that he is not going to do those last few things. So we did it ourselves. Till now, he is a good friend. He speaks to me regularly, but we don't talk about that 1%. So he was able to successfully come from empty land to the house, which is a big achievement. But he did not complete that last bit, which is giving us a likable, livable house. Compared to the challenges in the first 99%, the last 1% is very tiny. Not at all important. It can be done by a non-engineer. You don't need an engineer to do that. But he didn't do it. End of the day, as customers, he was only able to meet 99% of our requirements, and 1% of our requirements were not met, even after stating it explicitly. So then I started thinking, what could be the reason? Why he did it like that? I realized probably at a stage, we also would have done the same. In fact, we all are doing it every day without realizing it. So the first 99% is understanding requirements of the house, then understanding limitations, what is the budget, how much time I have, what resources I have, what kind of land in which I am constructing, who are all the government officers with whom I have to work with, understanding that, then solutioning, which is designing the house in the best possible manner, considering all those limitations and requirements, then building it. These are all the first 99%, which is very exciting. Technically challenging. As an engineer, he must have felt thrilled. Those challenges are really good. That's what he likes, right? Every day he wants to go and construct houses which consider all these limitations and requirements, and then they get constructed. So that is more satisfying to him. He considers it more important. So he prefers to stay in that zone. You know what happened when we had that last 1% requirement? He had another customer who was in this 99% zone. A new land, a new customer who wanted a new house, empty land, new challenges. He was more excited to be there. We also do that. We want to stay in this comfort zone, solve a problem, and move to the next problem. That's what we like. And we consider the problem solved. That's a very big mistake that we make. The problem is actually not solved. Our builder friend thought he had completed the house, but as customers, the house was not completed. Even when we explicitly stated that, he couldn't understand, because for him, this was a big achievement, not taking any credit away from him. That's why I'm still friends with him. He constructed a wonderful house, but the problem is he stayed in the 99% zone. So why do we hate that other 1% zone? The 1% zone involves taking feedback, improving, giving a trial, doing some rework. I might have asked him to change something. One example I remember, only after my wife told that I realized. We selected a particular tile to be used in the bathroom. But after construction, we noticed that he has used a totally different tile. I didn't remember it obviously, but my wife did. So she told me to change the tile. Wow, that's okay, tile is a tile. Doesn't matter. I still remember what she told at that time. It doesn't matter if I didn't select the tile. If I didn't select the tile, any tile in the bathroom is okay. When I was selected and given that as a requirement, then that should be met. That is something that a customer would expect. That's what I mean by rework, and then finally ensuring that there is a happy customer. But this one person is less challenging. Okay? It's not the same thing, right? Empty land. What are you going to do? What kind of house you are going to construct there? Versus one cabinet doesn't have a handle, I have to fix a handle to it. It's not, it's less challenging. It's boring. And sometimes we consider it as marketers' work, not engineers' work, right? As engineers, we should be in the 99% zone. We should be solving problems. So we consider it as marketers' work, and we don't consider it as very important. Our builder friend did not consider it as very important, but it is not important for the builder, but very important for the customer. End of the day, it makes a lot of difference. So now coming back to the same two slides, when you look at it from the software or Salesforce implementation perspective, this 99% is the most challenging. How many of you agree? You enter a customer with a huge business problem, he is losing money every day, people are really worried, they tell you their problem, you have Salesforce platform on another side, you think about all your years of experience, you apply there, you solve a business problem, you develop a solution, you do the configuration, you do the coding, you do whatever it is, you demonstrate it, the customer is happy, and you consider the project as over. Exactly like the problem is solved. That's an assumption my builder friend made, and then that is a wrong assumption. Now, the 1% slide. This also makes sense in our projects. Some of us haven't even seen that 1% zone in many of the projects that we have done. We would have done the project, we would have solved the main problem, but we wouldn't have done this. We wouldn't have asked the customer for the feedback. Of course, some senior people in your project might have asked it, but as developer, did we get the customer feedback? Did we give them a trial? Did we ask them to tell us openly what they think is missing? What it takes for us to reach that happy customer state? We normally don't focus on this, including I'm not saying that I'm an exception. Including all developers consider this as less important, consider this as boring. So, what I'm trying to do in this talk is, I want to just make you think about this last 1%. What happens when you ignore that last 1%? On one side, as a developer, you've already moved to the next project. Another great company, another great business problem, you are solving it for the customer, so your skills are being tested again and you are very happy about it. While you are doing it, your old customer is doing this. The old customer is struggling with the user adoption, people are not accepting the product, people are asking for a lot of changes, no, this is not the way we do business, why did you do like this, all those things. He's probably hiring somebody else to fix the mess. This is not to take any credit away from you who did a great job from 0% to 99%. You did a great job, absolutely no doubt about it, but the last 1% is causing all these to your customer. So we have to think about it, is it fair? While developers continue to go and have challenging 99% engagements, and customers always having that last 1% missing. While I was sharing this slide with one of my colleagues, he sent me a picture of an ice cream cone with some chocolate syrup on top of it. So he was saying, ice cream cone is great, but the moment you have that chocolate layer on top of it, it tastes better. So he wanted to compare that chocolate layer as the last 1%. That is not the ice cream. Ice cream is below that. But that chocolate layer makes you see the ice cream in a totally different perspective. So it is absolutely not fair, I feel. While developers have all the fun doing all the 99% stuff, and the customers, irrespective of paying for the entire engagement, being asked to suffer because that last 1% is ignored. So what can we do about it? First of all, we need to understand what is our promise when we are signing a deal with the customer. As developers, we think of the explicit promise. The explicit promises configuration or the code that solves the business problem, well tested and deployed. This is what we feel is the promise. That's a promise with which we enter a project, we finish a project and we walk out. But in reality, there is a slight change. Presentable, usable configuration code that solves a business problem, well tested and deployed. There is nothing wrong in what you assumed, but you missed two important words. Presentable and usable. Presentation is the first filter. I usually call it as the boardroom presentation. Can you go and show the solution to a boardroom and get there okay? Looks great. You can go there. That's a presentable part. The second part is usable, which is very, very important. Convincing people on the boardroom is not enough. People on the ground, they are the people who are going to open your Salesforce application in a mobile or in a tablet or in a desktop. They are the ones who are going to use it. Is it usable? End of the day, if that is not usable, you would have heard most of the CRM projects fail. More than 80% failed CRM projects are because of this reason, not usable. What went wrong? We only built as per the requirement, right? They gave us the requirement, we built it, but finally it is not accepted, it is not used. Why? It's not our mistake. It's we need to understand the psychology behind how this whole thing works. When somebody comes and tells you, how do you want to solve this problem? They can probably only imagine up to a certain level. But when you are able to do that and show it to them, now they will get 100 different ideas. When you see something in front of you, you start getting newer ideas. So that is where the last 1% becomes boring. I have done everything you wanted, and now you are coming and telling me that it's not usable. That's not fair. That's how developers think. From the customer perspective, if this 1% is not done, what you have done, the other 99% is not very usable. So what can we do about it? Let's remember this implicit promise. And for us to fill this gap, we need to understand the customer's mindset. As far as developers are concerned, for us it is yet another project. All said and done, when you go meet a doctor, when you walk inside, for the doctor, you are yet another patient. That's it. It's the same way a developer treats every business problem as another project. It's a frank mindset. But for your customer, it is a lot more than a project. Their job may be dependent on it. Their company's profit or loss may depend on it. An entire community may depend on it. So it means a lot more to them than your project. Again, a doctor may view a patient as a transaction when he comes inside. But for the patient, it is his life. His life has to be saved. So we have to see it from that perspective. And that's where what I feel is we all, collectively, if we can move from solutions to presentable solutions, usable solutions, that actually makes us better developers. What I mean by solutions to presentable solutions. The presentable solution, first of all, like I said earlier, when you have done the requirements are stated and you are developing as per that, you are already done with 99% of work. You are already there. It's just the last 1%. So already you have done the 99%, but the last 1% is the most difficult. It looks most difficult mainly because you do it later. When you do it as a separate activity, it is always difficult. Remember your college days? You write an exam. While answering itself, if you can think about, am I presenting it right? Am I presenting anything wrong? Can I reword it? If you are doing it, then it is easy. If you write the whole exam, last 10 minutes, you are reading the whole paper. Now so many errors you will spot, you will have to change it and all those. So that's where what teachers and professors tell us is, while writing itself, apply your brain there. It should not be a mechanical writing. You should correct it while writing. So same thing they say for writers. When you write an article or a story or a poem, while you are writing it, edit it mentally. If you can do it, the last 1% will become easier. So instead of doing 99% and then doing 1%, if you can embed that 1% attitude, taking care of those small things, making it presentable, making it usable within the 99% itself, then you don't have to spend any extra time in that 1% because it is already done. You are not doing 99% separately and then spending extra time for the 1%. Automatically, you are producing a solution which is presentable and usable. That is what I feel is a better idea than asking people to do that 1% separately. The entire project is over. Now we are bored. We want to go to the next challenge and we want to attack the next 99%. So we can intelligently take care of this 1% while we are doing that 99% itself. So what can we do for that? 3 questions which I believe will make anything you do presentable and useful. Number 1, does it look right? What I mean by does it look right? Typically we come from the hello world mentality, right? There is a requirement, you do some coding, it works, we are happy, it's done, the problem is solved. But does it look good? Is it presentable? One good example I'll tell you from one of our recent project experiences. There was a very nice configured solution for a bank. So they were demonstrating. The first step was creating an account. So they were going and pressing the new account button. The screen came. And the left column was full. All fields were proper. Right column, 2 fields were there. Then there is a huge gap. Then 1 field. Then there is some gap. Simply by reorganizing the field, they would have made that screen look better. Now, people started asking, why is that empty? Is something going to appear there? If I fill this value, we saw dynamically fields appear. Is something going to appear? Then we said, no, nothing is going to appear. Then why did you leave it as empty? See, you see the point? Unnecessarily, the conversation is getting into why you left it empty. Instead, if you organized it properly, people probably wouldn't have worried about that empty space, they would have worried about your solution per se. So, unnecessarily we have invited trouble because we didn't have this question. Doesn't look right. In 5-star restaurants, they give equal importance to presentation of the food. Sometimes they even goof upon the preparation of the food, but the presentation, they make sure that it looks nice. So, does it look right? Remember, this is on top of 99%. I'm not telling you, make it look right and then your solution will be successful. Do the first 99% as you would normally do with all sincerity and commitment, and then ask this question, does it look good? Then, does it flow good? Does it flow right? What I mean by flow, the difference between look and flow is the way I define it as. Look is when I see screens as individuals, whereas flow is when they take from one screen to another screen. Is it natural? When you watch a movie, you like those movies where there is a nice connect between scene 1 and scene 2, scene 2 and scene 3, scene 3 and scene 4. Then finally, the last scene which finishes the movie. If there is a nice flow, you like it. If there is no flow, if it jumps, suddenly it goes up, down and up, you walk out. Or you change the channel. So this happens. It's the same that will happen in the customer's mind also. Are you moving between screens too much? Can you reduce it? Can you make the flow better? Is the flow very well understood for somebody who is already doing that job? Or are you asking him to learn something totally new? So that's the second question that I'm talking about. And the third question, is it easy for the user? What I mean by easy for the user is, you can always ask the user to click 200 times and then do a job, versus 5 times and do the job. Both get the job done, but the first one is slower and difficult, and the second one is faster and makes him use his brain more and his hands less. So, are you making it easy for the user? If there are 4 clicks, can you make it 3? Can you make it 2? Can you make it 1? Now we are talking about 0. Can you make it audio control? Can you reduce the clicks? Can you make it easy for the user? As easy as possible for the user. If you can ask these questions, not after finishing 99%. If you ask these questions after finishing 99%, you will have a lot of rework. Because during development, you would have built components which don't look good, you would have built components which don't flow good, you would have built components which are not easy for your users. So while developing itself, in the first 99% itself, you can ask these 3 questions, very simple questions. And be honest to yourself. If you can answer these 3 questions honestly, the last 1% is not at all required. It will be automatically taken care. When you finish 99%, it will automatically become a presentable and a usable solution. Now, here are some details. I did want to spend a lot of time in each one of these items, but I just want to give some high-level overview. Some of you may consider this as silly. I'm telling you very openly, because mostly we don't consider this as the job of the developers. Spelling, grammar. How many of us can write grammatically correct error messages? Of course, we are not writers. We are not supposed to be writers. We are supposed to be developers and configurators. But still, end of the day, what you have produced is going to be used by the user. So to make it easy for them, you need to take care of these things. Spell checking, grammar checking. Your organization may have a style guide. If your organization doesn't have a style guide, you can ask your customer. Most of the customer organizations will have a style guide. They'll give it to you. Then you can spend a couple of hours, read the style guide and then follow that religiously. Then you will be producing something they will like straight away. Mainly because they already have many applications which are following that style guide. And if your application follows that style guide, automatically you will be giving them a usable, likable application. So these are all the things that come in the styles. Your colors, fonts, text size, you have seen that, right? Suddenly one label will be in big fonts, something will be underlined, something will be bold, no particular reason. Similarly, numbers are left aligned, right aligned, text is left aligned, right aligned, MMDD format somewhere, DDMM format somewhere. So this is what we call as uniformity. We should question it and we should fix it. And using right logos, and intellectual property rights, that is another important thing. We just use images wherever possible, but we don't really worry about the intellectual property rights. If you are taking images from Google Images, there is a likelihood, more than 70% likelihood that you are using somebody else's licensed image. So you need to understand what is, if there is a department in your organization which can handle all these, great, take advice from them. But if there is nothing, then as developers, to become better developers, I feel we can take care of these small things. Then multiple devices, this is another very classic example I'll give you. We developed a fantastic application. It looked very right. Everything was fine. Finally, we sent the application to the CTO of the organization, who ran the application, and he liked it. He called my boss, and then he told me the application was fantastic. It looked great on my Google Team. Then we thought, we have been very lucky, because we have never tested that application in Google Team. I mean, of course, we thought the biggest screen size is the desktop or the laptop screen size. That's where we stopped. But here, run it in a TV, and then it has looked good, probably due to, because we used the Salesforce Lightning design system that automatically scales as per the screen in which it is being run. Fortunately for us. If we didn't, then he would have run it on a TV and then came back with really nasty feedback. We can't go back and tell him we did not test it in that device, because it's a implicit requirement. So are we testing it in all devices, starting from wearable to the biggest device that you can imagine? Okay, how do I do all these things? That's what is there on the right side. Left side, what to do, and right side, how to do. There are fantastic automated tools available to take care of these things. Grammar check, spelling check, uniformity check. There are HTML checking utilities available to which you can submit your app. They run an automated program and tell you you are 80% there. What is 20% missing? These are the problems you go and fix, and you are done with this testing. So there are a lot of automated tools available. Like I said, style guides you can ask for your organization or your customer's organization. If a style guide is missing, I encourage you to build a style guide. Building a style guide is not at all difficult. In fact, building a style guide is a lot easier than following a style guide. If there is no style guide existing, you are writing one. So you are deciding what colors to use, what font size to use, and so on. So write a style guide. Of course, it will be improved over a period of time. Next project you do, refer that style guide, improve the style guide. You keep doing it. After 4 or 5 projects, you have a nice style guide to follow for every new guy who is coming. Then have a library of components. Lightning makes it a lot easier. So in our organization, we maintain a library of components. For example, let's say date picker. We don't ask every developer or configurator to write a date picker component whenever they need it. There is a library available, take it from there. If you want to make changes, otherwise use it as it is. Not just components, messages, error messages. There are typically these are the error messages. Mandatory field missing, some wrong values entered in a field. Like that, there are some common error messages. Have a library so that people don't write error messages every time. Copy paste from there, it is a lot easier. This library will save you ton of time. And sample code, this is another, I'm sure many of you are following. Trailhead is such an amazing resource, but it is a global library. Have your own in-house library, your organization. If you did something great, go and publish it in the library so that in future if somebody wants to do something similar, for example automating a certain workflow step, it is available, sample code, they can take it and then they can use it. So either use a library, if a library doesn't exist, I recommend that you create that library in your organization. And simulators for that multiple devices. So there are simulators available. Make sure that even if you don't have the device, use a simulator to check how your app looks like in multiple screens. So all these things help you make sure that your application, your solution looks good, flows good, and it is easy on the end user. Now, after doing all these, we need to think about the user. Yeah, it looks good, it flows good. Now, how is the user going to feel? The button that you see there, it's a very nice button I found in the shop. I understand it's a very popular button. If you do something and it was easy, you press that button. It says that was easy. It makes a sound. More that sound you hear in your office, things are better. That's I understand. So, how can we make it easy for the user? We can do it in two ways. Number one, we can think like the customer, or we can ask the customer to tell us. The second one is easy. You must do the second one. You must ask the user to, we all have user acceptance testing. So it always goes to the user. But the first one, it is good for us. If we can think like the customer, next project when you are doing it, you are taking care of all these things in advance. You are not pushing it to the last 1%. You are taking care of these things in the first 99% itself. So we call it as a grandma test. What we mean by grandma test, I don't want to be sexist, grandpa test is equally accepted. So what it actually means is, can your grandmother or grandfather use this application? You may wonder, come on, this is a loan processing application, why my grandmother should run it? Doesn't make any sense, but the point is, it's more a philosophical question. Are you making it easy enough for anybody to run your program? If you are not, it is going to hurt your customer. Think about the training cost that is involved for the existing people, for the new people. We all talk about children learning mobile apps so fast, right? In a matter of 5 minutes, they are able to interact with the mobile app. No training. Nobody sat with them and then taught them. Can you bring that level of easiness, whatever way you want to call it, to your application? So that's what we mean by the grandmothers. If possible, walk in their shoes, think like a user, that's when you will understand a lot more. Personally, I'm telling you, with my experience all these years working on different CRM projects, thinking like your customer is the most difficult thing. It's more difficult than understanding woman. Okay? Thinking like your customer. You go and show it to your customer, the kind of feedback they are telling you, you think, oh my God, I have 15 years of experience. I have done so many CRM projects. I have done 10 banking projects. Why I didn't think this? That is because he's doing it as a job, and for you it is yet another project. There is a difference. So, understanding customer is very, very difficult, but you should make your attempt. Every project you get better. Start thinking like your customer, start hearing from them, and then that feedback will help you a lot. And ask them to test, that is very, very important. In fact, this user acceptance testing is a very, very funny thing. What we typically do is, we handpick those people who have already seen our application, know what is there in the application, We put them in a room, give them a username password, and ask them to test it. The easiest thing you can do. But in reality, it should actually go to those people who did not give you the requirement, who are expecting nothing from your application. That's when you will know whether it is a successful implementation or not. Be open to hear the unexpected feedback, which is this. It doesn't feel right. What do you make out of this? It doesn't feel right. It can mean 1,000 things, it can mean million things. But that's how it starts. Customer has a very shaky vision. Yeah, I saw the app, but it doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. Something is missing. What is that something missing? You get frustrated. Tell me what is missing. I'll fix it. But they can't tell you because they just feel it. So you start translating it. Get into the next step. Okay, what is not feeling right? Which step? Is it the beginning which is not good? Or halfway you lose interest? Something is unclear. What is happening? So ask further questions. Translate that doesn't feel right to the exact feedback. This button being there in this area is confusing me. Move the button to the left side, the problem is solved. It's silly, but it happens. Many times. So it doesn't feel right. It's a totally unexpected feedback, but you have to work with it. You have to translate it. Then only you will be able to extract that real feedback from them and then improve it. And repeat this until the customer is happy. You should feel right. That is our intention. Repeat it. Now a very, very practical question will come to you. Who has time for all this? Does it mean we are going to do unlimited amount of rework? Keep working on the same project? Imagine my builder. If he is sitting with me every day, fixing one screw here, fixing one handle there, how will he make money? He has to go and build another house. Okay? So, the reality is it doesn't work like that. Remember, your customer wants this project to go live more than you. For you, maybe some payment milestones were there, all the payments are done, the payment has come to your company. But for the customer, he has invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes even millions. So he wants this project to go live more than you. So it is not, they are not faking. You don't have to make any wrong assumptions. Sit across the table, understand what is not feeling right, and continue the conversation until you understand what exactly needs to be fixed and then how we can cut to the presentable, usable app release. Sometimes they may even come up with new requirements. 5 months back, I was sitting in the same room asking you what is your business problem. You didn't tell me this. You told me 100 other things. I fixed all 100. Now you are telling another 5 business problems which you never told me. It happens. It happens to all of us. We don't know everything in day one. As we see the app, if I tell you, does this picture look right? You can't give any feedback. I draw half, you can give some feedback. I draw 90%, you can give more feedback. As you see things, you start telling more. So when such requirements come, don't blame them because they can't visualize it on day one. So that is where they will be very happy to pay for anything which is new, which is again my observation. Typically we make this assumption that all customers want extra free work, which is not true. Okay? Of course, like everybody, customers also want freebies. We will give them freebies, but that doesn't mean all these things count as freebies. While you are handling the last 1%, there will be new requirements coming which they never visualized before, they never told you, you didn't build them, it is nobody's mistake, you are going to build it now to make it presentable and usable, and the customer will be happy to pay for it, as long as you are able to justify, yes, this is something which was not covered, now I am going to do it, I will make it ready for it. So don't worry about this. And another important point, this is again more like politics, there are gatekeepers between you and the real users. Throughout the project duration, you will be speaking to these gatekeepers a lot. These gatekeepers, what they typically do is, they understand the end users little bit, but they talk as if they understand the end user 100%. So you get the fake comfort that you have understood the end user. You haven't even talked to the end user, but because this gatekeeper talks so confidently, you feel that yes, everything is right. Put it in front of the end user, they are going to tear your application apart and throw it away. They'll tell this is not what I wanted. But that gatekeeper told me this is what you wanted. You won't speak to. As simple as that. So the end users are our real bosses. So can you speak to your gatekeeper from day one, not after 99%. From day one, after let's say 25% of your app is done, just ask him, can I show it to some real users? Can I get some feedback? Getting feedback at 25% level is much better than getting feedback at 99% level, which means a lot of need. So remember this gatekeepers, you have to talk to the end users. The end users have to use your application, especially true for CRM. CRM end users are much different from the gatekeepers you speak to on a day-on-day basis. So try to access your end users and then understand from them every word they are going to utter is going to add to your experience. You are going to understand the end users better. That is going to make you better developers. That is going to make you better configurators. That's the truth. Now, the summary. Whatever I told till now can be summarized with these 3 points. Very simple points. Number 1, the presenting, configuring or writing. I consider everybody as developers. Whether you are a configurator or a Visual Force developer or a Lightning developer or a reports developer, it doesn't matter. All of us give CRM solutions, customer relationship management solution. All of us giving a presentable, usable application to our customers is our responsibility. Not marketing team's responsibility, not customer success manager's responsibility, not sales team's responsibility. It is developer's responsibility. Number 1. Number 2, understand your users better, develop something that they would enjoy using. Few days back I read a nice quote about Slack. How many of you use Slack? Amazing app, right? The founder of Slack tells that Slack is an endless game. It's not a business application, it's an endless game. You go there and play a game. While you are doing the game, a lot of things happen in your organization. Whatever you are producing is actually a byproduct. You are actually playing a game. You are enjoying yourself when you are in Slack. It's the same thing. Can you develop something that your customer, that is your end users, are enjoying? They don't feel like, oh no, this screen, I'm seeing it throughout the day, I'm going to break this monitor one day. Instead of that, can you make it enjoyable? That's the second point. And the third one, result. You will become a better developer and the customer will shower you with projects. This is something I can tell you from my experience. If you understand your customer better and deliver what they want, they will not go shopping. They will not go and talk to another partner to see if they can do a better job, however talented they may be. Because this understanding is the most difficult to get. Once that is in place, all technical problems, everything can be adjusted. This is the third point is very, very important. The comfort zone that your customers have with you actually determines the future business that they are going to give you. So that is very important. As developers, let's take that responsibility as well. And we'll open it for questions and answers now. I'm currently writing a book on this topic. When it gets over, I'll share the link with you for those who are interested. But in general, I believe the philosophy of presentable, usable solutions versus solutions is a difference that all developers, not just Salesforce, everybody should understand. Thank you. Do we have time for QA or? Yeah, any questions? No questions? Okay, I thought you will ask some questions and I can get all the goodies by answering. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Sometimes the developer is not exposed to direct client.
Correct.
So how do we reach out to the developer?
Okay, see, thanks. See, the handling gatekeepers is a very tricky business, okay? As a developer, it is important whom I consider as my immediate customer. For me, my team lead may be the immediate customer. If I can write a code which makes my team lead happy, that is done. That is one level of success. The next level is the QC team. The QC team should see my application and like it. That's the second level of success. The third level, this is where the gatekeeper comes in. The gatekeeper sees it and the gatekeeper approves it. The fourth level, which is the end user, whom we are talking about, they should see it and they should approve it. That's when it becomes a ultimate success. So this is where you can start pushing your immediate customer for feedback coming from real users. So this is where you can educate your team leads to say that, can we ask the customer for this? In fact, customers will be happy to do it. Even if it is one user, it's fine. We are not asking an army of people to come and test our application. Can we have one person, anything we develop, we send an email to that person, he spends some 15 minutes on it, comes back and tells me, good, bad, please change these things, this is not how we do business, that will be good. So I would recommend, if you are not exposed to the gatekeepers also, you talk to your immediate people who are exposed to the gatekeepers, who will have a good relationship with the gatekeepers actually, to nudge them and then get the next level access. So yeah, the effort comes from our side. When a baby bird is inside the egg, so the effort has to come from inside the egg to open it and then get it done. It's something of that sort. Yeah. Okay.
If you heard of wireframes, so instead of hand user to the customer,
Excellent.
make wireframes and share them.
Correct.
Do the development in agile.
Correct. Good.
That will reduce the rundown kind of risk.
Right. Right. Actually, it's a very good point. I purposely didn't want to bring Agile here maybe because it can be understood in a different manner. But you are right. When I said 25% get the customer feedback, if you are starting from the wireframe itself, hand-drawn, in fact, we typically start with hand-drawn diagram. Hand-drawn or drawn on a whiteboard, click a picture, send it to the customer, get their okay. We have tools like Balsamiq. I don't know how many of you use Balsamiq. Fantastic tool. You need to buy a one-time license. There is a free version as well. Amazing tool. Whatever you write in paper, you can convert it into a system quickly, save it as a PDF with all clickable links. It will look like a real application. The customer can feel it, how it flows. They can give you a lot of feedback. So earlier you get the feedback from them, the better. But that still will not eliminate the last 1%. It will still happen, but it will probably make the first 99% better. Any other questions? Yeah.
So this discipline, what you said, it can be taught or into the new guys, new freshers or new developers.
Right.
Through induction programs and multiple sessions whenever, or some tech lead, the team lead or project manager looks after into all this.
Right.
But I have one question on how do you do this discipline with regards to the English or the language.
Right.
What do you suggest? So people are normally, the person is excellent in coding, he or she is not very excellent in talking or he may verbal or communication. So what is the better way?
Right. In fact, this is a classic problem almost every organization is having. Fantastic developers, but they are afraid to write an email. That is because they are worried about whether they will say anything wrong or anything that is not written. See, it can be handled in two ways. Number one, peer review. We can match them with those who are at least better than them in terms of language, who can point the mistakes to them. That is one. Second one, the library I was talking about. The more stuff you add to the library and tell that person, hey, don't write your own messages. All the messages are here. Just search for it, pick the right message, and then use it. So promote reusability and do better reviews. These are two very easy ways to do it. Third one, which is more difficult, it should become a cultural change, is the business writing as a soft skill itself. That is something which can be taught. It's not difficult, but the effort should come from the developer side. There are amazing books available on business English. It's not journalist English. You don't have to be a Shakespeare to do that stuff. Tomorrow is Shakespeare's birthday. So you don't have to learn that level of English, but the language that works. There are a lot of books available, but the effort should come from the developer. And sadly, many developers consider improving their language skills as optional, which I don't agree personally, but my view may be biased because I am a reader and a writer, so maybe I think writing is more important. But definitely I can say that it is not something you can ignore. I've seen people with the years of experience, but because they didn't focus on this, they never get into a customer-facing role. They're always kind of sidelined by others who are able to articulate their thoughts clearly in front of the customer. So I would say that that's a skill that developers should probably put that extra effort and then learn that as well, instead of moving away from it.
That library thing is perfectly well.
Yes, it's amazing.
But what about the spoken or the presenting skills?
Okay, fine. That is probably slightly away from the current topic, but again, the answer is same. It's a soft skill that people should learn.
Third option.
Yeah, correct. And also, nowadays I'm noticing that the HR people are also becoming stricter on that aspect. They are probably giving at least 20 to 30% importance to the presentation skills of the talent. As Salesforce skills become more and more commoditized, this becomes important. When you are in a new technology, nobody knows the technology. Even if you are poor in presentation skills, they are still willing to take you. But now that Salesforce has got a mass, we just now saw that Bengalooru itself has 3,000 plus members in this group. If there are 3,000 people here, there are 30,000 people who are not there in the group, but they can do Salesforce stuff. So it becomes important. So that the effort should come from the developer side on that aspect.
Also ask because when you ask that question, how many people can write
Correct.
nobody writes so.
Right.
Adding on to that for improvisation, actually we have some of it. There is something called as user experience labs, which people are setting up there in organization.
Right.
Especially for the websites or website testing and all. They're like, they just randomly pick up the user and they just ask them to sit in front of the screen and they ask them like, locate this field on the screen. So users should not spend much time on the screen, like identifying there is a field where I should enter the data. So all that's one. And the second is with the color combination, like how I can see the color of the website.
Right.
So that is where the user experience labs are playing a major role in current.
Excellent. I just want to make sure adding one more point to it. We should not think it's a job of the user experience lab. The lab is there to help us, but we should not, if we say like that, it will be like it is the responsibility of our doctor to keep us healthy. It is not true, right? Doctor is an expert, he can help you, he can tell you what to eat, what not to eat, how to keep a healthy lifestyle, but at the end of the day, the responsibility is with us. So like that, we can treat UX lab as experts helping us become better, but at the end of the day, each one should take care of his or her